Heteroaction, the missing ingredient that makes hypnosis easy. Do you know about heteroaction? Well, if you say no, don't be surprised, because most hypnotists don't. And it is a constant source of amazement to us, because for us, it is so much a part of hypnosis, we can't imagine anybody not using it or knowing about it. It's like being a mechanic who's never heard of a starter motor. Years ago, someone accused me of making up this term, heteroaction. Said it's a stupid term, it sounds ridiculous to make these. I pointed the person to Dr. Andre Weitzenhofer. In his book, General Techniques of Hypnotism, circa 1957, Weitzenhofer was a hypnosis heavyweight. And he worked with Hilgard on the Stanford Hypnosis Susceptibility Scales. So he knew what he was talking about when he came up with this term. So what is heteroaction? Well, let's simplify it. When somebody is given a hypnotic suggestion, any kind of suggestion, even a small one, a response occurs in their brain. And then there's sort of a cascade in the brain that causes increased susceptibility to completely different suggestions. And for example, in my stage show years ago, I'd tell people they're being attacked by insects and they're all scratching and it starts to kick in with them and it's funny, everybody laughs. Then I pull them out of that and they're instantly in the Arctic and it's freezing cold. And because heteroaction's kicking in, the Arctic now is much stronger than the insects were. And now they're freezing cold, and I move them immediately to the depths of the Gobi Desert where it's like 200 degrees, whatever. Now they're sweating like crazy because each time we change the scene and they've responded to the previous suggestion, heteroaction makes the next one work even better. Now this will bottom out eventually, but generally speaking, someone follows a suggestion, it cascades into a greater predisposition to follow a completely different suggestion. It doesn't have to be connected at all. Now, heteroaction works too with suggestibility tests. When you tell a person your hands are going to lock and then they do lock and you say, no, your fingers are moving together, and that happens. Each suggestibility test builds heteroaction. So you're always going to start with one that's very easy to do. And I recommend the hand clasp because it has a near 100% when done properly success rate. Person can't get their hands apart, they struggle. Bang, heteroaction kicks in. Now we do a different suggestibility test and another and another. And it's always building up. In fact, heteroaction is so powerful, you actually don't need to do an induction at all. Let me give you an example. In my early days, I would do the hand clasp, fingers moving together. Then I would have the person feel their legs are getting tired, they're sinking to the floor, or couldn't open their eyes. I had about 6 or 7 things that could pile one on top of the other. And then guess what? I wouldn't do any trance induction. I'd move immediately into producing phenomena. Oh, you're fishing, you know, whatever it is. And because they've gone heteroaction, 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 yes, 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 all of a sudden, we've got them in a trance. We've gotten them there in a series of steps without ever mentioning doing hypnosis. It leads to stronger and stronger responses. But heteroaction shows up in other places too. For example, a yes set. When you say to the person, oh, it's your first session here. Yes. Okay. Now you say, oh, it's a beautiful sunny day too, isn't it? Yes. And is that your red Honda out there? Yes. The yes set is now increasing their predisposition through heteroaction to say yes every single time. And then we lead to a compliance set where we're not getting them to agree, but we're getting them to do things unquestioningly. Things like put your feet flat on the floor. They do. Rest your hands in your lap. They do. Take a deep breath. They do. Heteroaction is making their compliance stronger, step by step by step. So the bottom line is agreeing with someone continuously or fulfilling a small request will start heteroaction, and it will build momentum like a snowball rolling down a hill and getting bigger. So when you're doing hypnosis, keep it simple. Ask 3 questions that require a yes or an agreement or just nodding yes response. That's your yes set. Heteroaction starts. Then give 3 instructions for the subject to comply with. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, let your eyes close, tilt your head forward. Once they're in a trance, keep in mind that easy suggestions will lead to much more complex suggestions being followed without question. The key is start small, keep them moving. Ask 3 questions that require a yes or an agreement. Give 3 instructions for the subject to comply with. Once they are in trance, keep in mind that easy suggestions should be given up front and will lead to much more complex suggestions being followed. This is the power of heteroaction. Thank you, Dr. Andre Weitzenhofer. To find out much more about hypnosis, check out the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy. You'll find the link in the description below this video.